Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Hutchinson, and this is the Salem Witch-Hunt Daily Report for Friday, February 9th, 2024. On February 9th and 10th, 1693, a young woman named Mercy Short suffered fits, which she had been suffering for several months. And so I want to discuss with you who this is and what's so interesting about her case. Mercy Short is one of the afflicted girls, but one that you perhaps don't know as well as Abigail Williams, Ann Putnam Jr., Betty Paris, Elizabeth Hubbard, those names that we hear again and again out of Salem Village. The difference was Mercy Short was living in Boston at the time of the Salem witch trials, but she had lived on the frontier in a town called Salmon Falls on the New Hampshire-Maine border. And in 1690, this town was attacked. So Mercy Short, the reason that she suffered from fits might be that she suffered trauma during the wars with the French and their Native American allies. You see, her parents, Clement and Faith Short, were killed, her home lost, brothers and sisters killed or taken captive, and she herself taken captive during this raid on Salmon Falls on March 18th, 1690. And she and her surviving siblings were marched to Canada. On the way up there, Mercy saw a number of brutal killings, including the killing of Robert Rogers, who was burned and dismembered, the killing of a 5-year-old boy who was hit in the head with a hatchet and then his body hacked to pieces, and the beheading and scalping of a teenager who was apparently misbehaving. After Mercy was redeemed from captivity, she became a maid for Margaret Thatcher in Boston. Now, this Margaret Thatcher was the mother-in-law of Jonathan Corwin, one of the two magistrates involved in Salem witch trials from the very get-go. He and John Hathorne signed the original arrest warrants for Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne, and remained involved closely with the process throughout the preliminary examinations in Salem Village and the trials in Salem Town. So anyways, here's May 1692. This is what Cotton Mather later wrote about Mercy Short visiting the Boston jail. It was in the summer of the year 1692 when several persons were committed into the jail in Boston on suspicion of having a hand in that most horrid and hellish witchcraft which had brought in the devils upon several parts of the country at such a rate as is the just astonishment of the world. Then it was that Mercy Short, being sent by her mistress upon an errand unto the prison, was asked by one of the suspected witches for a little tobacco, and she affronted the hag, 'twas Sarah Good, since executed at Salem, by throwing a handful of shavings at her and saying, "That's tobacco good enough for you." Whereupon that wretched woman bestowed some ill words upon her, and poor Mercy was taken with just such, or perhaps much worse, fits as those which held the bewitched people, then tormented by invisible furies in the county of Essex. So he's comparing her afflictions to those of the Salem Village afflicted persons. Now, during these fits, Mercy saw several specters and even the devil. As Cotton writes, there exhibited himself unto her a devil, having the figure of a short and a black man. And it was remarkable that, although she had no sort of acquaintance with histories of what has happened elsewhere to make any impressions upon her imagination, yet the devil that visited her was just of the same stature, feature, and complexion with what the histories of the witchcrafts beyond sea ascribe unto him. He was a wretch no taller than an ordinary walking staff. He was not of a Negro, but of a tawny or an Indian color. He wore a high-crowned hat with straight hair and had one cloven foot. This devil still brought with him unto her a considerable number of specters, most exactly resembling the persons of several people in the country, some of whose names were either formerly known or now by their companions told unto her. So a lot of these specters, she doesn't even know who they are, but allegedly other specters are telling her who they are. So this may be a hint that maybe she's receiving tips from visitors about maybe so and so is causing your problems. That's a bit of speculation, but Cotton goes on. And these wicked specters assisted or obeyed their devilish master, who brought them to infest her with such hideous assaults, as were the astonishment of all that standers by. So you can see that her fits had started in May 1692 and were continuing in 1693. So she had many, many months suffering this way that Cotton Mather recorded as he was tending to her. Somehow her case never resulted in any legal action against any so called witches. Cotton actually suppressed the names so that no innocents would be falsely accused. And I wonder why Cotton, here in acting with Mercy Short and keeping the names that she reveals secret, why he didn't share his feelings in this way with the other ministers and magistrates who were taking the word of these people who were having their fits. And so while this person is convulsing and having these visions, she's telling to Cotton who they are. And he's saying, maybe not so. That's a good person right there. That I know that they're good. But in Salem Village, it's the opposite way. They're naming names, and those names are being taken down. And immediately, those individuals are complained of to magistrates, warrants are issued, arrests are made, people end up dying. But Cotton Mather all along had the answer. When people are in their fits, you can't trust what they're saying, so don't spread it any further. Anyways, that's the story of Mercy Short. This is Friday, February 9th, 2024, and this has been the Salem Witch-Hunt Daily Report. I'm Josh Hutchinson. See you tomorrow.